Boom, boom, Danny's back. What a ride this is, and it is on!
Part 2, Episode 1, Jake Dixon, MotoGP rider.
There was a wet patch in that point of the track.
No one saw that.
And he's whacking them out with a hammer. Looked at my wrist, mate, and it's completely the wrong way. Dislocated, smashed to smithereens. I was like, oh God, concussion!
Yeah.
I was 4th, 5th, leading Le Mans, crashed out a Le Mans race.
Just this mess of a man that's just lost $3.5 grand and his mate's just DNF.
Teammates to Valentino Rossi.
Teammates to Rossi.
My idol when I was growing up,
Teammates to
wanting
Rossi.
to be Valentino.
Silverstone,
Yeah.
home race,
Yeah.
Grand Prix bike, like,
Oh my God.
shut the front door, mate.
Yeah. You know when you get in the cars and it's just like, everything's going like this,
Yeah.
mate. That was me. If I lean any more, my head's going to be on the floor.
But worst rival.
You're lucky I could clean it up, because if not, it's the end of your career. I am going to win next year.
Yeah. Get that lorry back there now.
No one's getting in my way, mate.
What's the last thing you Googled? Yeah.
The only thing that will stop you is your mind.
Boom, boom, Danny's back. What a ride this is, and it is on!
Right, guys, here we are, Part 2, Episode 1, Jake Dixon, MotoGP rider. Remember I used to actually tell everyone that?
Yeah, you're embarrassing.
When you was on the phone, I'd be like, I'm not going to say...
through
McDonald's.
Tesco's or somewhere.
I'm not going to say McDonald's because that would have been off-season. But I'd be like, yeah, I'm on the phone to MotoGP rider Jake Dixon. And they're like, oh my God.
They're like,
shut up,
no,
Dan.
they're like, who?
Yeah, shut up, Dan. Shut up, Dan. But yeah, so obviously, mate, there's so many things we need to touch on. Obviously, the fact that you had... Well, let's talk about Valencia when you crashed and you could have literally ended that nearly.
Oh my God.
Like that, like was, like I forget that, but that nearly
was
ended
bad.
your career, didn't it?
That
crash
bad.
was horrendous, weren't it?
Yeah. So, actually, first year in Petronas. So I obviously went from the KTM, then I went to
So that was
Calex for the
2019.
first year in
Yeah,
2020.
Yeah.
And then we had COVID. So
Oh mate,
we
wow.
we had
whiffed in
COVID.
hard.
Yeah, and then we was with.
Remember, you thought I'm going to do 100. I'm going to do
I done
700.
10,000 kilometers in lockdown.
Yeah, and you thought I'm going to do 700 kilometers this week, and I was like, that's 100 a day. I was saying, or was it 500? You tried to do?
No, 700.
Broke you, didn't it?
Yeah, mate, dead out. And I was trying to run with it as well.
Dan, can you come on for an hour?
Dan,
no,
I'm
mate,
like
I've got
a crisp
family.
now, mate.
I know, Dan, I've got family, Jake. I can't tune in right now, mate. We was doing silly.
No, it was
rides.
ridiculous, mate. 100 kilometers every morning,
But we had nothing
Sunday,
to
every
do.
Sunday morning.
No one did it. Obviously, it was lockdown,
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
it? It was a terrible time.
Mad. But then obviously we got going again, and I had a Petronas. I had a brand new team. My crew chief had never been a crew chief, and that was a bit of a disaster.
Was he English?
Yeah, he was English.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't go into names. Yeah, so basically, actually, once I got going, I started to go good. I was 4th, 5th, leading Le Mans, crashed out a Le Mans race. Top 6s a lot.
Don't
So-
talk about that. Can I just
Oh.
come clean to you about the Le Mans race?
What?
I actually chucked on 150 quid, yeah, before that race.
You never told me this.
And if you won the race, I'd have got 3.5 grand back, yeah. So I was in like a weird emotional state at that point because I remember I was walking the dog.
4 laps to go.
Yeah, Maya and Steph were in the park.
Yeah.
We'd walked down to the park, and I had to I said, Steph was like, just go away, just go be on your own for the last 5 laps of the race, yeah, or 6 laps, whatever it was at the point, because you're doing me in. Like I can't, like just go away, and when it's done, come back. And I literally, so I'm walking around this big field and I'm pacing, yeah. Buzz is just running around off the lead.
Going
good,
mad.
Good dog. Just being legend. And I literally remember, yeah. So I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have 3.5 grand off 150 quid here. And then, but my best mate's going to win his first like Moto2 race. And I was just like, I had this like weird, like roller coaster thing going on. And then obviously you had, and you and Sam were battling. And from me being a spectator, it kind of looked like that Sam was pushing to break you, but you was just resilient, yeah? Your pace was just perfect.
Yeah.
And I genuinely think if you went across the line that lap that you crashed, I think Sam would have gone, he had 3 or 4 seconds behind him, whatever it was. You had a couple of seconds. I think he would have settled for a second place.
Yeah.
And I think you'd have won that race, but you didn't make it because you crashed.
It was so
corner.
unexpected. There was a wet patch in that point of the track.
No one saw that.
Yeah. No, but literally, I just ran straight across it, and obviously I went down. But
mate, and
man,
you phoned me quite quickly after that actually, which was really surprising. Because if it's a bad day, you'd never phone me back.
Do you know what?
What was the feeling like? Genuinely, like, do you remember
straight
it now?
after it? Numb. I had
Just
no
nothing.
emotion.
Yeah,
And then I got back to the box, and then I'm like, fuck.
because you
That was
started
bad.
to do you 6th and 5th anyway, weren't you?
Yeah.
Around that time, weren't you? You'd made
And
a big
then-
step.
So I went from there, obviously crashed out, and then I went to Aragon and I finished 4th.
Yeah, that was banging. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you was like, mate, I can do this.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and at this point, I've had quite a few top 6s, running top 4. Like now, I feel like I've broke into being at the front of Moto2, which I felt I had. Went to the last race second to last race, I think it was at the time, because Portugal was the last race. Went to Valencia, and I wasn't in that week. This is another thing. This is how bad my mental health was still at that stage. I didn't go out in FP1 because of a crash earlier in the week where I hit my head a bit and I didn't feel great. But I was that obsessed when I was obsessing with concussion. I was that obsessed
Got a funny story about
that
that.
I couldn't go out in FP1. So I missed FP1 because of that.
Yeah.
And then I went out in FP2 and broke my wrist.
We're big advocates of concussion, aren't we? But
Yeah.
let me just tell you though, because I didn't actually get to the end of what happened when I was walking around the field with Buzz.
Oh, sorry.
I shouted. So I'm bearing in mind I'm in the middle of like quite a communal field. Yeah, there's like people around, like, and I was like, fuck!
And you're
Like,
loud
no,
anyway.
the loudest the loudest fuck I could ever give, and I threw my phone so far. Like I just had my phone, I just threw it, mate. I just lost the head. And I just threw my phone, yeah. And I remember walking back over to Steph, and I just imagined like cameras on me, yeah, me just traipsing across a field in the pouring
Well
rain.
fuming, mate.
Just this mess of a man that's just lost $3.5 grand and his mate's just DNF'd. And yeah, man, I was more disappointed for you, obviously,
Yeah.
because I know how much
lie.
it means. And
You love
$3.5
money.
grand, I lost $3.5 grand.
You love money.
But what about, let's talk the concussion side of things. What about when he was motocrossing? COVID had just been lifted, the restrictions, and me and you was like, mate, we need to ride some motocross, didn't we? And we was like, where can we go? And you was like, I've got this place.
You're like, Jake, you haven't even got
Well,
a
no,
concussion,
first
mate.
of all, so we're pulling up to the track here, and there's like, it pulls off this main road.
No, this is after my wrist.
Oh my gosh, so I'm jumping the gun here.
You've well jumped the gun,
Shall
mate.
I tell this story anyway, and then we'll go back to all the other stuff?
Yeah.
Right, so we pull up to this motocross
First time
track.
riding a bike
Yeah,
back after
yeah.
breaking my wrist.
So Jake had a broken wrist, which we'll go back to. We pull up at this track, and there's this geezer reversing this big lorry, yeah, and Jake's behind him, bibbing him, and like the guy is just, isn't he, like just blatantly ignoring you, like.
yeah. And I was,
And
yeah,
I
I
just
remember
sit
that, yeah,
there.
on the road.
And I literally just, it was like the Big Brother kind of moment, weren't it? I was just like, Big Brother's got to get out and sort this out. So I jump out the motor and I just start shouting at this geezer. I'm
Get
like,
out of the way.
Get that lorry back there now. And he's like, no. I was like, fucking turn it in there. We're going in there. Just arguing with this geezer.
Oh my
You and Sarah
God.
just sat in the van. Sarah just smiling at me.
Sarah's just like, what is
And
going
anyway,
on
we're doing
right
these
now?
motos at this flat track, aren't we? Because the main track was too rough.
Yeah, good
And
track
you
though. Rough though,
you
wasn't
had
it?
such a, you
Massive.
had like a big crash, but like barrel rolled out of it.
You was like,
touched
it's
your
impressive.
helmet.
It's impressive.
But yeah, I know, it's so impressive. It was like a gymnastic move. And you literally like grazed your helmet and you was like, I've got a concussion. And I
Yeah.
was like, mate, you definitely haven't got concussion.
Yeah.
You was angry because you thought you had concussion. I was like,
and I
mate.
couldn't walk. Done myself
Oh my
bad.
God.
Done myself a bad
And then
didn't I?
Sarah's there, and it was literally like the scene out of Talladega Nights when he thinks he's on fire. I'm on fire!
I was like, I've got a concussion.
Yeah, and you're like,
I've got a concussion.
I've got a concussion. I was like, mate, you touched
You
your
haven't.
helmet. Like,
Yeah, you've
you
literally-
have not got concussion.
We need to be a bit more worried about your leg right now.
I think your leg's falling off, mate. I think that's worrying. But yeah, anyway, that was a funny story at the time.
But yeah, obviously.
But so, yeah.
So going
Let's go
back,
back.
to Valencia, FP2 is damp.
At this point, you was
I was
starting
on
to
it.
break.
Like,
you
I
was
was on it.
P5s.
So
Yeah, you was up there at Valencia.
yeah, I was in that session. It was at the beginning, but I was fastest at the time. And then literally turn 4,
Oh, it
which
catches
is
you out.
like
I know, it's notorious, man.
Moto2, cold tyres,
First side on the right.
a
innit?
high-sided off throttle on entry. And I remember just going over the front and thinking, oh, I've high-sided. I remember just crashing and just rolling through the gravel and then going, wow, that's painful. Looked at my wrist, mate, and it's completely the wrong way. Dislocated, smashed to smithereens. Little did I know. Screaming, mate, in the gravel because I'm thinking this is just so... And I've never, ever experienced pain like it. It's the worst pain I've ever experienced, dislocating my wrist. And
But you didn't just dislocate it, did you?
no, and then obviously they went there, got morphine, put it back in, and they said to me, oh no, you'll be all right, just leave it. Well, I obviously wasn't going to leave it. Crutchlow messaged me a guy, Mike Hayton.
Because everyone has like private
Yeah,
people
and
they
this
see.
guy, Mike Hayton's done Amir Khan's hands, like he's the bollocks. He's done Tony Bellew, he's done everyone. He's like top dog, he's the best in the
Yeah.
world. Go to him the next day. Fly back that night. Go see him the next day. He gets me in dead quick. Drive to Manchester, and he gets me in, and he says, "Let's X-ray it." And he says, "Is it painful now?" So he took it out the cast. I says, "Yeah, bad." So he's like, X-rays it, and he just comes back and he goes, "Yeah, that's fucked."
Imagine this.
And, and he's just like, at the time, he's like, right, but what we need to do is this, this, and this. So 2 days later, I go into the operation, and he says the operation was only meant to be a couple of hours, ended up being like 4 hours. I come back round, and I fucking look down, mate. What the hell is this all about? Can't feel my arm, for one. And I've got 3 wires in my wrist. Comes round to me and he says, "Mate, your wrist is bad." Like,
can you show the camera where it was? Like, just to put it like.
Yeah, so if you look, here was for the nerve, because I had half of my hand had nerve damage and I couldn't feel anything. And then on the back of my wrist here, and then in here, they put wires. So yeah, not ideal. But he comes round to me and he says to me, dead serious, he's like, "Mate, your wrist is bad. When we've opened it up, it's basically like a train wreck." He says, "I've cleaned it up the best I can do." He says, "Let's see how it is, etc." He says, "I've done the best I can do." He says, "But I can tell you now, you're lucky I could clean it up, because if not, it's the end of your career."
Because what, your wrist would have fused?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
why would they fuse it? What was that? Why would they do that?
The whole joint was destroyed.
Because you desiccated it and then snapped it after you desiccated it.
No, it basically, where it's desiccated and it's shunted back, all the bones have been crushed. So basically, I was lucky to do it, and now it's nowhere near perfect, but I can get round it. But I'm so thankful to have him.
Yeah.
And he said to me, I was debating whether to wake you up to tell you that I might have to fuse it, but then he says I got round it anyway. But imagine that. He says to me, your career could be ended, and he says it still could not be good.
Yeah.
So let's just wait and see. So I had to have wires in for 12 weeks or something like that, 8 weeks. So my wrist was fixed. I couldn't move it. And my story, go back to take my wires out, and they're that fused in, mate, right? He's pulled 2 out.
Send me a video of that.
And he's whacking them out with a hammer. This one couldn't get out, right?
Oh, it makes my face cringe.
He says to me, right, I've got to go down to the operation theatre, and he says, I've got to go and get the proper mole grips. I'm thinking, what? Mole grips? He says, yeah. Gets the mole grips, mate.
Steph's got a pair of them in a tool bag.
Gets a pair of these. You've never seen the size of these things, mate.
They're like
grabs them, and he is pulling like you would not believe. In the end, he's knocking it out,
That makes
mate.
me feel sick, mate. That makes me feel sick.
And once it came out, mate, the pain when it came out was horrendous. And then afterwards, it was all right. But like, even to this day, no, he said to me, I don't know if you'll be ready for the start of the season.
This was October? No, November it would have been, wouldn't it?
This is November. Yeah. So bearing in mind, season started in March.
Yeah.
So I missed testing.
Missed the first test.
Turned up to the first test. Went P2.
I know, I remember.
First day P1.
And bearing in mind,
my wrist don't even work.
Yeah.
My wrist ain't even working at this point.
Yeah, because you were struggling, weren't you? Yeah. And people had already tested, and then people had already done a private test before them test.
So I turn up.
So you're like 5 days, 6 days
I've
back.
Not even rode for 6 months.
Yeah.
Turn up, go P1 first day.
Yeah.
Everyone couldn't believe it. Wrists absolutely hanging off.
Fluked it.
Yeah, I think it
Cut
was.
the track.
Was cutting the track. And then I finished the first race 6th.
Yeah, that was Qatar, weren't it?
Yeah, and then I DNF'd the second race, but then it all went downhill
was this
from
21?
there, mate.
Yeah.
Then it went all downhill from there. My wrist was bad. Took me a long time to get over it. Qatar, I don't know how I did it. Basically, it all spiraled out of control from there. Got rid of my crew chief because it was all going wrong. And then I brought Brains in, and then it was just all a bit messy because Brains never got a chance to.
And you had a Spanish crew chief, didn't you? In a Spanish team. And you couldn't really.
No, he was English.
Oh,
He was an English. My whole team was English.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I went and then brought Brains in, and then Brains obviously tried to do the best he could do, and he got me going good towards the end of the year.
Thrown into the deep end, Brains was, weren't he? Yeah.
So I started to get top 10s again. But I think a big factor was down to obviously not having the best of crew chiefs, not in Brains with the one before, and my broken wrist took me longer than I thought it was going to. Because like even now, like down to
The
like
movement.
That's the movement I've got that
Take
way.
my strong hand.
But that way I've got good movement. So I think he made it so my wrist can go that way better. Was obviously I don't
Before we
think
get
it's easier
into 2021, obviously what I found out as well, I don't even know if I've told you this, but I didn't realise, so bearing in mind you were struggling in the end of the Petronas days, you were struggling, weren't you? It was hard. It weren't coming easy, was it? It was hard, it was hard.
Yeah.
At this point, Petronas had decided they're dropping the Moto2 programme for the following season.
Yeah.
Vierge put out a thing at the end of the year going type thing what results do you expect us to get when we was getting old recycled shit basically put on the bike? Like at that point when they cut off the Moto2 program for the following year, is it fair to say that they weren't if you had a crash it would be like old parts and the bike wasn't as competitive as it could have been?
It's difficult to say.
I know because you sometimes don't do that.
I'm not even in there, am I? I'm not.
Nah, you just get on it.
Listen, Brains had a shit end of the stick because he had a no-win basically situation.
Yeah.
He didn't understand the bike. He's not worked in Moto2 lately.
Was this Petronas as well?
Yeah, Petronas. And my confidence was rock bottom. So, and then obviously in that time of having Brains, I had done 2 wildcards on MotoGP.
I wanted to talk to you about that. That's why you've just literally asked my next question. Just have the podcast, mate. Just take it. Yeah. But that, mate, what an experience.
Yeah. It was
Remember when you phoned me and you was like, oh, no, I just kept on at you, didn't I? I was
You're
like, mate,
you've got it, mate.
Have you got it?
And I was like,
and
no,
you was like,
mate.
I don't know if this falls in. And I was like, mate, are you riding this bike? Are you riding this bike? And then you phoned me, you was like, yeah, mate. And for us, man, like where we've come from, like this the pinnacle. Like it's nothing is better than riding a MotoGP bike. Like nothing.
Hey,
like
and teammates to Valentino Rossi.
Teammates to Rossi.
My idol when I was growing up, wanting to be Valentino.
Silverstone, home race, Grand Prix bike. Like,
oh my God.
Shut the front door, mate.
Yeah,
I lost my head.
so
I was just
sick.
losing it, weren't I? But for you, like, hey, Jake, how are you doing? Like, that was Rossi, by the way, in case anyone was wondering what that was. But that was Valley. But what was it like? Right, so let's talk about, first of all, then. Let's talk, because you phoned me after FP1. I was like, mate,
No, you were there.
Oh, yeah, I was there. Sorry, where was I? Yeah, I was there. I do remember. And I was like, mate, what was it like? And you was like, yeah, when at the lower RPM going through like the first few corners, you was like, yeah, it weren't too bad. And then you said when you opened the thing up, mate, it was like another
It's
engine.
like, mate, if you watched the film Fast and Furious, didn't you? You know when you get in the cars and it's just like everything's like this, mate. That was me. I broke halfway down the straight, mate, because I just didn't know what was going on.
And the
so
lean
fast.
angle, you just said you just keep going.
Yeah, they said to me, you can keep leaning. I said, mate, if I lean any more, my head's going to be on the floor.
But that's
but
Fabio with his shoulder down. It's just...
It's another experience, mate. And same situation that I had in Supersport, the Superbike. When I got on MotoGP, I felt 20 times better than I felt on Moto2.
Yeah, I think you're going to be... I think when that jump comes for you to go GP, because it's got to come, it's going to come, I think that's going to be... when you literally, I think that's when you're going to come into your element, because I think you are a big bike rider,
No, 100%. And you look at all the people that have got on the bike. I don't even need to defend my case.
No, everyone knows at that point the bike wasn't competitive. Like,
but
when you look at Dovi...
But it don't matter. Like, Dovi got on the bike, right? When he first rode the bike, after 2 races of me being on the bike, I was miles faster than 2 races when he was on the bike.
All right, mate, it's a job interview.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, if I had a team, I'd put you on it.
All right, mate, I'm selling this to you right now.
I'm basically the best there is.
Basically, I'm Ricky Barbie.
Oh, yeah. I'm the best here, it's plain and simple.
But,
no, it's,
like, for
you
instance...
showed your worth to me.
Yeah.
In that time that you showed your worth.
In Aragon, all I could ever compare to is Fabio, who was on the same bike.
Aragon back. We can't mention Fabio's name in this podcast.
We can.
Yeah.
Fabio's my best
I love
friend.
you, Fabio.
I love you, Fabio. Fabio, big up.
Hopefully I'm going to get Fabio on as a guest. We're going to have to bribe him.
Yeah, it's all right. I'll get him over.
Yeah, I'll call him. I made a call.
I'll make the calls.
Yeah.
I'll get him on now.
But what about Aragon back straight as well? And obviously,
but by that point, it was normal.
Yeah.
But
and Fabio
FP3,
in your corner as such.
Yeah, and I was only in FP3. I think I was 1 second off the top, my second weekend on it, and I think I was only 0.6 or 7 off Fabio. But then when I was overlaying my data to Fabio, there was like 3 or 4 corners I was faster than him.
Shut up.
So I'm like, in 2
bet he was
weekends,
like-
mate, I'm like.
He won the championship that year as well.
But then afterwards, it's like that wasn't enough.
and then what about when
But
they
Fabio
go
then
yeah.
says all the time, what you done on that bike is miles more than what anyone's ever done.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I
And
think
he's
so.
always saying to Yamaha, you need Jake on the
Yeah.
bike because you're not seeing what we all
2024.
saw.
Hopefully.
Let's see.
That's the goal, isn't it? But
I
like, the
got
ultimate
to
goal for
win
you,
first.
the ultimate goal for you, like without jumping the gun too much in the future, like how I see 2023 for you is podiums, race wins. With that comes championships.
Yeah.
With that comes a GP contract,
Yeah.
isn't it? So that's the ultimate goal, isn't it? GP
Yeah.
contract, no shadow of
Yeah.
a doubt.
But
like,
but the first things first. Long year. You don't know what can happen.
22 rounds,
yeah,
is it?
And 22 rounds, you don't know what can happen.
How-
Anything can happen throughout a season.
yeah.
You got to stay injury free is the biggest thing
With all the testing,
with
yeah.
testing, with being smart, with being. You just got to try to do the best you can do and be on the limit as much as you can be, but also be bringing back the results. Because second half of the season this year, I think for the last 7 races, I never finished lower than 4th. Sorry.
Yeah.
In the last
that's
7
good.
races.
That's good. Strong end of the season.
That's why I need bot all the way through.
Yeah.
And I know it's not always going to happen like that, but
No.
I need to just try and grind out the result that I can always get. Like Malaysia, I fought. And then
Yeah.
obviously on social media, everyone was loving it, and Augusto was being a little bitch about it. But
Yeah, but mate, I'm not being funny. Regardless to
listen,
whoever's in the
don't care
championship,
if
why
it's
would you
you,
give a shit?
don't care if
I know you
it's-
didn't care about me. You need to
Knock
get a
hill.
knock hill hairpin.
Yeah, but hey,
Mate, you're a
snooze, you lose.
person. No, but that's what I'm saying.
Snooze, you lose,
and
mate.
people give it about, oh yeah, but he should respect Augusto in a championship fight. No, mate,
No,
you're
shut the
doing
fuck.
your job. I'll tell you
Is
what.
that
Then,
gonna, yeah.
when
And
when
my
you-
team going to be happy?
yeah, when you finish 4th, go up to Augusto and go, mate, my bonus is X amount, so I'm gonna invoice you for that bonus. You give me that bonus.
Yeah.
All of the coverage my team and sponsors and team sponsors and everyone else that's associated with that team lose because I'm giving you the position. I'll tell you what, mate. Yeah, go on.
I served it up to him
I'd
hard,
say
mate.
bollocks, mate.
Oh, yeah, I was loving it.
What's
though.
bollocks in Spanish? You must know that.
No,
Boloch.
I know.
El coño. No, I don't know what that is. That might be really vulgar, actually, what I've just
I
said
can't
there.
say
Do
half
you know
the
what?
things I
I'm
know.
actually apologising now because that could be a real bad word in Spanish. I don't actually know.
You're an
Any of the
idiot.
Spanish followers out there, and that's a really bad word, let me know because I'm interested.
Oh my god, your Spanish is really
But
bad.
basically, it's just, but people don't get that, do they? Like, people think like, oh,
Yeah.
you're going to let Augusto win the championship.
Oh.
No, mate, you don't want him to win the championship. You want to win it, even though you've cut. But you finished 6th, mate, like 2022, didn't you, in the
Yeah.
championship?
You
That's-
text me straight after,
no,
mate, and I,
texted you like
I
a
wasn't
week
even
later,
bothered.
and I was like, bro, you
but
finished
the
6th in the Moto2
Yeah,
World
it's good.
Championship.
Look, it's great, but it ain't what I want, is it? At the end of
No,
the day,
it's not what you want,
And
but
I was
mate,
fucking
yeah.
fuming because in Valencia, I messed up. I
Yeah,
hit a false
yeah.
neutral, and I went to last, and had to come back to
Yeah, I was
7th.
fuming.
And if I
watching
hadn't have done
race.
that, we worked out the time that I lost going off, I'd have been on the podium again,
And would you have been 5th in the championship then? Or
Yeah.
Because, mate, it's
and
savage.
potentially 4th.
I say to people, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy Moto2 championship. Like, everyone in that class is savage.
Even
Because,
the last place
yeah,
guy,
yeah.
mate.
But, like, you've got, like, the young ones to, like, the elders, let's say, they are so fast. And it's relentless, isn't it? Like,
Mate,
you
they're all young. They're all so young. I,
I
feel
know.
old, man. I'm old
I
in
know,
there.
and no one, and it's like you watch them, and no one, like when they're winning, they make no mistakes, and you're like, oh, it's because he's like doing this or that, and it's not, man.
But
It's
do you
just
know what?
because
Do you know what it's down
machines.
to? It's down to, right? What I always say to everybody: I'm making the mistakes now in Moto2 than what people would make in Moto3.
Yeah,
Because people spend 4 or 5 years in Moto3,
Yeah, you
then go
didn't get that
Moto2.
chance.
I never got that. So now I'm making all them mistakes, learning everything that I'm
Yeah.
learning, but in Moto2. So it's taking me longer. But I'm telling you, once I click fully, I'm not fully clicked, I will be a machine, mate. Because I know exactly what I need to do now to try to propel myself further.
I always said that. I always said that when you get your first win,
Yeah.
like I knew in that Le Mans race, let's say, once you got into the routine, like the bang, 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 bang with the laps, I knew that you was gonna win. I didn't know he was
Yeah.
going to crash on a damp patch that weren't there,
Yeah.
but I knew he was going to win. But that's like part of you. Like you are like that, aren't you? And that's like
I think that's another thing in the way that I train, in the way that I do anything. That if I do it, I'm doing it fully. Like
Yeah.
I'm not half-heartedly doing it. When mini biking, every time I ride it, I don't ever ride it 50% because there's no point in me riding.
no.
I ride as hard as I can possibly ride that bike on that day.
Yeah.
Regardless.
But
Regardless if I crash 5 times in one day. Don't
and
matter.
like what you do, like what you do as a person. Like New Year's Eve was round, weren't we, playing Mario Kart?
Yeah.
I think I actually won.
No, you
more
didn't.
time. I think
No, you
no, I do. I would have to
Dan.
try and pull them scores back up
Dan,
somehow.
I had lap record. And you got
But
the
me
ump
and you,
and tried
Mario
smashing
Kart,
controller
I
up.
probably definitely did smash that. Sounds like me. But with what, like me and you doing Mario Kart together, like unless you win, it's not good enough, is it? And I think like the type of person
But I
you
think
are.
that hinders me as well.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because your emotional side of how
Yeah.
you are.
And I think that's why I crash sometimes.
Because you lose the head.
Not lose the head, but maybe where... That's what I learned the second half of the season. Maybe where I need to respect the limit, I keep going on to that limit and keep flirting with it, and then I crash.
Yeah, whereas like if it's not coming easy, a 5th or 6th might just be
just
the
be
one.
better.
Just take it. But I think you did that as the season went on.
But that's why I was slow at the beginning of races in the end.
I know, because you could see you
Too
was
cautious,
wary. Yeah,
too
yeah.
cautious. And then at the end,
Yeah.
I'm fastest, like on
Yeah.
track. But they're the sort of things that you can't give away.
No.
And
And
I
it's
need to learn
tight.
because everybody's going to be fast next year. And you got Agura, you got Pedro Costa, and Pedro Costa's so young, man.
But they're saying the same thing about you.
Yeah,
We've got Jake, we've got this, we've got that. It's
yeah,
the
yeah,
same.
yeah.
But
They'll be more
yeah.
worried. Listen, at the end of the day, I am not too worried on any opposition.
Why would you be? Yeah, it's your job to go and achieve. You can do it, and like
Everybody is beatable. Whether it's if I beat them on that day or that day, it doesn't matter. I've just got to beat them over 22 races.
Yeah.
They could possibly be faster than me naturally, but over 22 they won't be faster.
How much did Fabio help you in? Like, obviously, I know he's helped you a lot throughout. Cause
Yeah, good. Yeah, good.
Silly things he might say, but how much? Does
He's
that
always trying to calm me down.
help? Yeah.
That's all he's ever trying to do is
Yeah.
because he always feels that I'm very hyperactive, which I am. But like little things down to on the grid, just stop moving on the
Just
grid.
calm.
Just sit with your headphones on and just look straight and just clear your mind because
Yeah.
he says you're always moving about, doing this, that, and the other. And I think that helped me.
Yeah.
He says to me on warm-up laps, always be the one to lead the warm-up lap.
All right. Don't give away secrets because
I don't care.
no, I do because
Listen,
he's helped
I
me out. Cadwell.
Yeah,
Remember?
but it don't matter.
Nah, I know. No,
They're gonna.
they're not
But
going to figure
for
it
me,
out. Yeah.
it is what it is. And always now to the grid, I push as hard as I can.
Yeah.
On the warm-up lap, I push as hard as I can because then I've been sat around for 2-3 hours not
Yeah.
doing anything. So they're my extra laps
Genuinely
that
can't
I'm
believe you're
doing.
giving away these secrets, mate. I'm literally going to title this now Jake Dixon Secrets. And I'm definitely going to get 5 or 6 listeners. But no, it is like there's so many aspects to being a successful rider. Do you think like, I remember someone, I can't remember who it was now saying to me, but they was like, you have to be a certain level of bastard to be that sort of champion like that.
Marquez,
relentless
ultimate, mate.
champion.
Ultimate, like,
Yeah.
relentless.
The guy's a
He
savage.
do-
Look at what everyone else is
doesn't
doing on
care
that
about
Honda.
anyone.
He just gets back on it, mate, after that savage injury.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's there, mate. Like,
If there's anyone that you can ever take the relentless, like a relentless background from, is him. Because he never gives up, mate.
the geezer's savage. Like when he goes on the back
His
flip
arm.
in qualifying.
His busted up arm, like.
I know I spoke to Carl Crutchlow once after a test, and he said that like, mate, Marquez couldn't even lift up a pencil, and then he was finishing like 7th and 6th at the time in the GP, like before he went for his second arm operation,
Yeah.
or whatever it was, before he had the break. He was like, mate, he can't even hold a coffee properly, and he was going out and riding for 45, 50 minutes at that level on them bikes with the amount of G-force, the amount of braking force.
Determination.
Yeah.
The only thing that will stop you is your mind.
Definitely.
It's like running.
Yeah.
Your brain will give up before your body will give up.
Yeah.
So that's all I ever tell myself.
Like
Same
David
in a
Goggins
race.
says that, doesn't
Mate,
he?
in Malaysia, it's that hot. I remember halfway through the race, because I've made myself a load of work coming back through. So I was having to push 120% every lap.
And
But
it's so
every lap-
hot.
I was telling myself, nah, just this position's good. But then
Yeah.
there was that inner voice in me going, nah, it's not good
Keep
enough.
going. Come on.
So then that's the part that gets me through and I feel like is better. And also, one thing I feel like I have in a one-to-one battle, like with Augusto, they're never beating me.
no, because you are quite...
In my
yeah.
head, they're never beating me.
Yeah. Cheryl's giving it on your shoulder.
No, at that point, Cheryl never gives it.
Does Cheryl never... She used to stay quiet, does she?
In the racing, never. I am the most confident, unconfident person off the bike.
You doubt yourself a lot with stuff.
When I'm
Yeah.
on the bike, I'm the most confident person.
Yeah.
And I generally mean that. And when I'm out on the track, I never question myself.
What is something that you think people misunderstand you for? Like, do you think people think, oh, he's just cocky, he's arrogant? But you actually self-doubt. Like, you have got... Like, you
It's a
like,
front.
enough is not enough.
Everything's a front.
I'd say I'm probably similar in that way with some things. Like obviously we talk deep about things, but like what do you think is something people think about you that like they don't really know how you are? Do you think it is that?
Don't really know, to be fair.
Because you wear your heart on your sleeve, like you're like
what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
So
you don't hide nothing.
No, I'm not arrogant. I'm confident.
Yeah.
When I'm talking about my racing.
But as an athlete, you've got to be confident.
But I'm only confident now because I know what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
I know I've self-doubted in the last couple of years, but now I've got back to the place that I know where I can do it.
And let's talk about that as well. Like, how big is it for a rider? Like, do you know, you could be a guy in here like, oh, mate, I'm going to win next year. I'm going to win next year. I'm going to win next year.
But deep down, not
But if
thinking
you
it.
don't know it, like, I remember being.
No,
like,
I generally believe.
Yeah.
I am going to win next year.
Yeah, but when you don't believe, like, even like, do you remember there being points where you're like, oh yeah, I think I can win. I remember being in play, being, oh yeah, I think I can win, but not deeply.
You do that
feeling
a lot,
it.
though.
But now, yeah, like for me next season, and this podcast isn't about me, but I feel like for me next season, I feel really relaxed because I know what it's got now to win, and it almost takes a notch off you, and you just feel double relaxed. Like, Like I feel like I felt like before I had like this sort of like knot in my chest, and it was like, like, and I was waiting for that to be released and to be like, you can do it. Now I feel like that's gone and I can do it, and I'm double relaxed. Do you have that same feeling?
Before I would be always asking the team or people around me, that was good, wasn't it? That was good.
Yeah, for like that.
That reinsurance. Reinsurance.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Do you think I can do it? Can't I? Can do it? Can't I?
Oh yeah, I'm doing it. Yeah.
Now there's no. It sounds like I'm being dead arrogant, but I'm the least arrogant person coming. But I am so focused and so confident in what I am going to do and the goal that I have got and where I am going. No one's getting in my way, mate.
No.
And especially the shit that I've been through has taught me so many different lessons. And I just think that is my self inner strength that I have grown to build from what I've learned over the years.
And mate, when you have a child, it takes
I already
that
feel
to another level.
I already feel it.
Yeah, like it takes it to.
I want to succeed because I want to provide for my family, and I want to show her what dad's about, and dad's the definition of hard work
and safely. Like you'll go right, like you'll make decisions on the bike, but you subconsciously go like you have it's really weird, but you go like I've got a family, but you like it changed me. It definitely changed me. But Steph said to me one time, like talking about mental health and things like that, I was in a bit of a weird place really, like a bit down and that, and Steph said to me, would you rather your kids look in and go, oh, like that's my dad, look, he's at the back, like, or and she literally said it to me like this, like, would you rather your kids be looking at you like you're at the back, or that's my dad, he's the winner? And I swear to God, it changed my mindset instantly. And having Steph there to reassure me, like, come on, like, pull your finger out, basically, that helped me. But it's mate, honestly, we can literally sit here all day, couldn't we, going about stories and that.
Yeah.
But it is what's the obviously the ultimate goal is MotoGP. What do you think, like, after racing? What do you see? How do you see your life after racing? I know you probably not even looked that far.
Nah.
What do you like? Obviously,
I reckon
like mental health stuff.
No, but obviously, regards to career-wise, I think unless anything obviously happens, I want to be in it for another 10 years.
Yeah.
Doing what I'm doing, because I feel like I've got another good solid 10
Yeah.
years, because I don't feel I've reached anywhere near my full potential. So
Scratching the surface.
After racing, I don't know, mate. I've not even thought about it.
Do you want to
I'd
install
like
office furniture?
Yeah, I'll come work for you. No, honestly, I think I would like to be in TV, whether it's in bikes or not bikes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I generally would like to do that side of things. I would like to, I generally think I would be quite good at it.
What about sim racing?
TV presenting. No.
Or car racing.
car racing,
actually, something people might not know about you. You actually can drive a car. Like, genuinely, like, I know, like, the sim side of things.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about Petronas, Mercedes.
Yeah, that was sick, man.
In,
that was so sick.
Wasn't it? Like, talk about it. So
obviously, Mercedes asked me, Formula One team, their esports team asked me if I would basically they were doing like, I don't know, esport racing with George Russell, Albon, and then some other celebrities as well.
Didn't Norris's brother, like Lando Norris' brother,
Leclerc.
Yeah.
And we were racing, No, but I would have like, this is how serious down to Formula One e-racing is, mate. Mercedes would make me not make me because I was wanting to do it, but I would drive to Brackley, where there are places, and I would drive down there, and then I would sit on their sim, and they would do. I'd have to drive for hour sessions, and they will record all my data for steering angle, of brake pressure, brake pedal, and throttle pedal. And then afterwards, we would sit through the data, and they would tell me, here, you need to do this, this, and this. And they would overlay it, because me and George Russell, because he's their driver at the time, in there as their like academy driver. So it'd be me and him just driving together, talking about stuff. And then we'd overlay on his, and I remember I got really quick in the sessions, and I'd done 3 or 4 days before the event, and I remember in the race I had we would do like a practice session where you would do your own simulation, and I remember I crashed out my simulation, so I pitted for tyres, and everyone had already done their fastest laps, and then I pitted for tyres to do my fastest lap. And I ended up fastest in their session. So I was faster than George Russell and all these others. And then we did the eSport race. And I was running third at the time.
I tuned in for it.
And me and Leclerc were going at it, mate. And I had Bono, he's an eSports world champion, in my ear as my race engineer throughout the race, telling me strategy. I would have to change fueling between corners to try and fuel save, to give me more power, to deploy the DRS in the correct area, to put your power battery, like your battery saving on in different places. Mate, it was mad. And then pit at the right time, try and undercut. We had a proper dice, me and Leclerc, and then I spun out towards the end and finished 4th.
Yeah, that's decent.
But was so sick.
Esports.
And I still drive with the eSport driver. I haven't drove them for about 6 months, but I drive with them, all the world champions. One's called Graham, who used to drive for Red Bull, now drives for Mercedes, and Bono, who drives for Mercedes.
Yeah,
and we would drive, and not all the time, but some days over one lap, if they tow me around, I can be faster than them. So
that's
good.
nuts, isn't it? It is mad, isn't it? Them sims are.
They are mad. I got one, haven't I? So.
I know. Yeah, I've been on it. You before Don International, come round mine, mate.
You need to get on.
You
this.
need to get on
it
this
helps,
sim.
mate.
Well, it didn't help me. I had a rubbish weekend, but that's probably more me than anything else. Let's talk a little bit about golf as well. Obviously, you're massive into your golf. I know you ain't been for a while, have you?
No, I am actually over it at the minute.
Are you genuinely? What?
I think I'm going to be officially retired.
Jack said that you were so good for having no lessons, but your level of just who you are as a person just wouldn't give in, would they, to have lessons?
No,
I went straight away for a lesson.
No,
I had to hold my grip differently, but I'm shit at golf, mate. I'm not going to be a golfer.
I've heard all about your golfing.
I play all right sometimes, but the problem is I lose the head and I just literally smash the club into the floor.
Golf is so frustrating. It's the one sport that I generally don't understand.
Hodgie smokes you up, doesn't he?
Hodgie's so good. Hodgie actually went Hodgie went for a bad patch though. Hodgie went for a bad patch and he's only just come back. He's come out of retirement.
Is he coming?
I've retired.
You're in your
come
bad patch.
back, and now I think I'm going back into retirement.
So you're in your
again.
bad patch.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't like the cold weather.
Oh, yeah, right, listen. So we are going to just do some quick fire questions that I've come up with. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just obviously answer as accurately as you can. Yeah. Who's your favourite all-time rider?
Valentino.
Yeah. Good geezer. This ain't going to be quick fire because
I
want to know about him.
Yeah.
He invited you to the ranch, didn't he?
Yeah. No,
Maybe this
it's
ain't a
cool.
quick
It's no, basically, you shouldn't meet your idols. Put it that way.
But
he's cool. He's cool.
He's a legend. Yeah. So your favourite track now? Favourite track?
Ooh, favourite track.
Knock Hill.
Yeah, Knock Hill.
Phillip Island.
Oh yeah, Phillip Island
Is it?
probably. Yeah. I didn't like Phillip Island before this year, and then I loved it. Yeah, probably Phillip Island.
Yeah, decent. Person for advice.
Person for advice.
Yeah, who would you
like
always
what?
go
What
to?
do you mean?
Like, who would you go to for advice? Frankie, Sarah.
Yeah.
Fair one. Favorite food?
Vegan sausage pasta.
Bosh. Garlic bread.
Yeah, that's banging.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I'm
know.
so hungry. So
Yeah, you are. And are you hungry now?
Yeah, hungry.
Garlic bread. Oh, yummy.
Hurry up! I'm on a diet though. I can't have that.
But worst rival?
Worst rival?
Like someone who you just like, who you remember just being like. I know, obviously, you and your ex-teammate had your differences last year.
No, that's nothing to this year.
Now he's not your teammate.
He's an absolute ball bag of a geezer. Probably Albert, yeah. He's a fucking twat.
You didn't
mate.
go on with him, did you?
Oh
No.
my god.
But no people see that behind.
No,
Do they? Like
no.
what goes on?
I don't even want to get into it because it winds me up thinking about it.
Yeah, good. All right.
Because I'm knocking him out. Just give it a
Mate,
left,
we're
right.
gonna have to do an actual like end of season summary because we've actually got so much other stuff to talk about
it's
on top
ridiculous.
of the fact that
Just knocking people out.
what we've gone on. Yeah, like nights out. Funny. Right, favorite place to eat. Because you've travelled, obviously now you've travelled the world, mate.
As in
and,
country-wise,
or
favourite
anything,
favourite.
like place to eat, like whether it's Australia when you was out there. Because, yeah, I mean, you've travelled.
Do you know what?
What's your favourite country as well while you're at it? Yeah.
I don't know.
I really like the look
I
of
always
like,
no, it's not even one that I go to race. Kenya.
yeah.
Safari.
You've been there for your honeymoon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was so fun, so sick.
Yeah.
Best time of my life.
Yeah, that looked good actually.
Yeah, best time of my life. I didn't talk about food, but I don't really know. They're all pretty good.
Do you have a weakness?
Uh,
Apart from them spindly little arms that you've got. That
do I
can
have a
lift up 20
weakness?
kilos.
Do I have a weak? You're an absolute idiot. Do I have a weakness? I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, I do not. I am tough. I am the best there is. I do not have a weakness. To be fair, even if I had a weakness, I wouldn't tell anyone.
Yeah, because that's why it's a weakness.
Albert will be listening. He'll
Yeah.
get you. If you could have a superpower, what would it be and why? And I know you're
to be good in the bedroom.
Yeah. I know why that would be then. But
No,
and
I don't know. I don't.
what's the last thing you
Dunno.
googled?
Last thing I do.
Come
Should
on.
I share with it? Last thing I googled.
Oh, this one.
Let's have a look. I'll go on my history of. Oh,
Oh gosh.
it's nothing.
Oh no.
East Midlands Parkway Station
Oh,
parking.
all right.
That's gash, innit?
That's boring.
That is gash.
That's
That is nothing.
boring.
Oh, Renfrew MX grips. That's another one.
Nice. Renfrew, if you're listening, shout out.
Yeah,
Send us some
shout
free-
out. Send
We're
me some free
sending you.
stuff.
We're sending you address.
If not, paid would be even better.
Yeah. If not, few quid.
Yeah.
Few quid. And I've said, right, let's sign off with one more question. The
Very
biggest
polite.
regret in your life? Do you have one? Like biggest regret, like in your career or your life, like an opportunity you never took, or
Biggest regret in my life.
it's a bit on the spot. This one.
Biggest regret of my life.
I had one with an app that I was lucky enough to start developing this app, yeah, and the opportunity that I had got taken away because the guy who was developing it had to go into full-time work, and I didn't have investment to take on this app. So that was one of the biggest regrets of my life was not going.
Not pursuing that.
I need to just get an investor to put in this app because I think it would be. This was probably 5-6 years ago now. This would probably be really big now, but it was kind of like like running thing. But have you got any? Nah. Nah.
The only regret I would have is upsetting Sarah.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I've ever upset her.
Yeah,
like,
in
really
like
bad.
in the moment in the
That
racetrack.
sounds like
and-
really corny, but that's generally
No, but
the
yeah.
biggest regret I ever have.
Yeah. All right, so I actually said I actually got this one backwards because I said let's sign off with that one, but I have got one more.
Let's sign off with that one.
Right,
Anyway,
let's sign off
another
with this
question.
If you was at your last ever meal, what 3 guests would you invite, dead or alive?
Ooh. Celebrities. I'd take-
Anyone,
Yeah.
anyone, family, like anyone.
Oh,
family, friends.
Fucking hell, mate. That's ridiculous.
Well, no, it's not, is it? Because 3 people. Come on.
Sarah would be one.
Yeah.
Larry.
It
just sounds. Yeah, Larry's
Sarah,
another-
Larry, and you, Dan.
No, no. What are you on about? You're not in it.
Sorry. Oh, mate.
Stop putting yourself up
Oh,
there.
mate.
No,
Fabio.
no.
Can I have Fabio 3 times?
Sarah, probably you. Yeah, because you bring the bants, and I'm not just saying that because you're here. I generally like you.
Thank you.
And oh man, it's hard. Fucking hell. I generally wouldn't have another human.
It's a difficult one, isn't it?
It's so difficult because if you're going on celebrities, it'd be different, wouldn't it? But when it becomes like your family's
All right, let's go
involved-
celebs. Let's go
All right,
celebs.
cool. Well, you're not a celebrity, so.
Take me out of that.
Um,
I'm not even a Z lister. I might
I
be
would-
once this podcast blows up.
can I get credits on it?
Yeah.
Cheers, mate. Do
Do you even know any celebrities? Because Jack said you was on like a golf course with a load of footballers and you didn't have a clue.
Yeah,
They were.
Mason Mount, I think it
Oh,
was.
yeah, I
I
heard
had
that name.
no clue who he was, mate.
Yeah, has he
I was
got
like, yeah, you're right, mate.
decent haircut or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
Don't really watch. I got called Mason Mount weirdly.
Did you?
Walk across the school field with my dog, mate.
You look
my
nothing like
cockapoo. I know.
Mason Mount.
Kids were like, oh, it's
With your
Mason
cock out,
Mount.
did you say?
I was like, my cockapoo.
Oh, sorry.
And I was like, Mason Mount. I said to Steph, I just got called Mason Mount. She was like, yeah, you look nothing like him. I was like, cheers, babe.
I got called Gareth Bale the other day. I said he's the ugliest fucker I've ever seen, mate. so I'm clearly ugly.
That's right.
Third
celebrity, go.
Anyway.
Barry Sheen.
No, boring.
James Hunt.
No, but you're just
No,
reeling
I
off
don't
the.
know.
You're just reeling off the.
All right.
Oh God, it's so annoying. I can't think of anyone. Oh God, all the viewers are like, just get on with it.
Just get on with it already.
God, you're so boring.
God, you've got no intellectual idea.
No.
That's a good word, isn't it? Intellectual.
Oh
That's
God.
very. I don't know if I could spell it.
I'd actually use you because you're funny and you
Yeah,
are.
but you've already invited me. I can't come twice,
Yeah, but
can I? You've just invited me and
you
Sarah.
can. Yeah,
and then
you can.
took me away.
Hodgie. I'd have Hodgie.
So it'd be me, Hodgie, and Sarah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know
let's
what,
just
mate?
do
Got some
that.
mates,
Yeah.
ain't you?
Let's just do. I actually haven't got any friends.
No, but
Says a lot
actually,
about me.
No, but genuinely, like you are.
Look at me now, sucking the mic.
I know. But you are like you keep your. All right, I'm not signing off for that question, but you keep your circle tight, man. Like you don't let people in, do you? Like
Listen, people. I've had people screw me over.
Yeah, but you don't
And
like
people
in-
lately
yeah.
screw me over. And they'll know
Yeah.
who they are because they'll listen to this.
Yeah,
And honestly, I don't care. They can fuck themselves.
but you do,
But
don't you? You don't.
the
have,
thing is,
yeah.
no, I don't, because people that stab me in the back aren't my mate.
No.
So if you do that, you're never going to be
Yeah.
my mate again. So that's why
That's
I
awkward.
tend to.
How are you, mate? Still?
Huh?
How are you, mate? Still?
Yeah, you're my mate.
Jake
Yeah,
Gibson's
but
prick,
yeah, but
mate.
you've
No,
got
we're real,
you've got
aren't we?
no
No, we're
reason
real.
to
No,
slag me
no.
off, and you've got no ulterior motive,
No.
where some people do. So that's why I've got you.
You keep like
Sarah,
Drake says, I
Larry.
keep my circle tight.
Yeah,
and then he actually
exactly.
says some other words, but you
Yeah.
do, don't you? Like you keep
Yeah.
your circle tight, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Like,
Nah, I don't like many people either.
no. And anyway, what's up? So the rest of the year, Christmas coming up, chill
Christmas.
out. Obviously training hard.
First ever time. My mum's coming up for
Nice,
Christmas
yes.
with Keith. Big
Lovely
Keithy.
lady, love Keith.
Yeah, love Keith.
Got actually married Keith. I'd have married her.
Oh,
Sorry,
God.
Steph. Sorry, Keith.
Steph, if you're listening, I'm still free, babes.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Sarah.
Sorry, Sarah. Love you.
Love you, babes.
But genuinely, yeah. So then what? And then obviously like
Yeah.
like, we're talking about like weight
and
cut.
then
Like,
I
at the
go
minute,
Spain for 5 weeks
boot camp.
boot camp.
I'm gonna pop
I've
over.
already started training. I started about a month ago.
Cut the
properly.
diet. You've cut some
Yeah,
calories.
diet started about 2-3 weeks ago now.
Because that's something people don't often talk about as well. Like how serious,
yeah.
like all of that is. Like
Yeah.
the diet, the nutrition.
Trying to cut 3 kilos.
Trying to stay because you're quite tall for a Moto2 rider, aren't
Yeah.
you? Really, like and
difficult.
It's hard,
And it's
isn't it?
difficult not to get sick when you're light, when you're flying all the time.
And when it's freezing cold and everyone around.
That's why I go Spain as well.
Yeah.
I like to go out there. The weather's generally a lot better. It's like I looked there yesterday, and Sitges is between 18 to 20
Can you speak
degrees.
much Spanish?
I
know you can say there's a few bad words.
¿Cómo estás? No.
Is that it?
Hola, ¿qué
Vamos.
pasa? Hola, ¿qué pasa, tío?
Vamos.
You know what that means?
Saying,
Hello, what's up, mate?
What's up, mate?
Yeah.
Yeah, decent. We'll have to get some Spanish, but we're going to catch up with you
Yeah.
at the end of the season, mate. We're going to get you back
You need
down
to
here.
you need to come out to Spain. I keep inviting you. I invite you to do a lot of things, but you try to not do them.
Just busy guy, mate.
Busy guy.
podcasting.
Anyway, we're just waffling shit now.
We're going,
so.
mate. We're going to literally wrap this up. Thank you for coming on. Obviously, you're my
Thank
first.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
You are my first guest on Pushing the Limit podcast, and I couldn't be more pleased to have me, mate.
Thank you, mate.
I'll slap it awkwardly.
Oh,
Go around the mic. Nah, cheers for coming on, mate.
No,
Honestly.
Cheers. It's actually not
yeah.
been a pleasure. I've actually hated
I
every
know
minute
you're
of it.
hungry, aren't you? I'm going to get garlic bread.
Yeah.
And cut. And cut. Cut it.
Boom, boom, Danny Buchan. What a ride this is, and it is on.